Great skills again by him. Oh, marvellous goal by Lampard.
Welcome to the Rangers Journey.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday night edition of the Rangers Journal. It is another Q&A on this Wednesday night, and again, it's because the mighty Glasgow Rangers are playing in Europe again tomorrow. So we brought it forward to tonight. We all know that this is your favourite show of the week because you've got four fantastic guys here all ready to answer all your questions that you're going to throw at us. So welcome, everyone. It's great to have you all with us. Talking about great to have us with us. Mitch, you turned up bang on time tonight. What is going on? That's an absolute surprise for everyone.
Listen, it was a surprise to myself, mate. I'm not going to lie. I logged in. I was like, oh, wait, the intro's not even started. What a treat.
Great to have you with us, mate. How are you doing today? You okay?
Not bad, mate. Yourself?
Very well. Very well. Looking forward to this, mate. I think it'll be a good one tonight, so I'm looking forward to it. Lots to discuss, lots to get through. Stevie, how are you, my friend?
Evening, Chris, Mitch, Alan. I'm good, thank you. Evening, everybody. Let's do this.
Absolutely. And Alan, how's things, mate? We can hear you well. I know you had some technical issues last week, but I think we're on the money tonight, mate, aren't we?
Yeah, doing good, mate. Looking forward to this. Good to talk about the Rangers now. We just keep moving on from strength to strength now, so it's a good time.
Absolutely, mate. Let's kick off with some housekeeping, folks. First of all, just want to give a shout out for tonight's sponsor. So tonight's pod is sponsored by the good guys over at Bluebells Bar, Puerto del Carmen, and the glorious Lanzarote. So when you're over in the sunny Spanish Canary Islands, you'll find a warm welcome at the only Rangers bar in Puerto del Carmen. Family friendly, eat, drink, chill, or party. And yes, they show every Rangers game live, including tomorrow night's game if you're over there. Nothing better than watching the Bears and the scorching heat. So when in Lanzarote, do pop and say hello to all the guys over there and thank them, as always, for the tremendous job that they do at supporting the Rangers Journal. Great to have you with us, guys. I know you're all starting to come in with comments. Get your comments in. Put your questions across to the guys. We want to hear from you tonight and see what you've got. And make it difficult for them. And put some difficult conversations across, and we'll see what we can do. And no subject is off limit here. So we'll talk about everything we can tonight. Couple of things, guys, probably just to set the scene for tonight. So it's been a big week for Rangers again. Lots of transfer news about outgoings, which was maybe a surprise for a few people. We had Chermiti potentially going for €13 million. I don't know who's laughing at the background there, but we'll keep the laughter for a wee second. We also had another bid for Gassama. We believe it was around 10 million. That was an interesting one from Monaco. And then there's been a lot of chatter about Fernandez potentially going to Germany. Borussia Dortmund, one of the big names on that one. Really, really interesting. Who says Kevin Thelwell was a donkey? But that's not us. We never said that. We didn't say that at all. Look, lots to discuss. We can cover that off. And we've also got the big thing for tomorrow night, guys. We've got the big game coming up tomorrow night. It's a huge game for Rangers. Everything that goes with it. Keep the winning run going. And also the money that's at stake with it as well. So lots and lots to talk about tonight. Lots of questions to come in. And look, we'll talk about what do we need. Ins and outs. What do we think we need? Who do you want to let go? Who do you not want to let go? Where are Rangers getting the money from? Is EBTs back on the agenda again? Look, we'll talk about that later on. So we'll see what comes up in the news conference tonight. Stevie, I want to start off yourself, mate. How's it been for yourself since we spoke last week? We obviously had the game on Thursday night, the game on Sunday. We've come in, we've seen some of the transfer news. Obviously, Rangers been linked with a striker from Germany, third tier in Germany. People are saying a bit dodgy. What's your take on things over the last week, Stevie?
I mean, delighted, to be fair, mate. Obviously, a good win on Thursday in Europe. Another good 3 points, clean sheet on Sunday against Dundee. After a bit of, not the best first half, but, we got the job done. And obviously, what happened along the road to the M8 in Edinburgh, probably the perfect score for us. So, we went 2 clear of Celtic, better goal difference, and we narrowed the gap in Hearts. It couldn't have been an any better Sunday to me. Subsequently, the transfers, obviously, Dill's away. It's looking like Danilo's away. Rothwell, these are all guys that we've wanted to see leave, and they're leaving, and we're keeping the guys that Rule really rates. So to me, like I've said this before, but I think we're now getting what we wanted last summer, we're now getting in January. So yeah, I'm very optimistic about the kind of transfer business. players have been linked with. I mean, the German guy, to me, the third tier of German football is probably not that different for the Scottish top league with some of the teams and players. So, again, he's 6'4", rules like totally going for this particular type of player. Very athletic, strong, quick. A real stature about them, which to me, I have to mention Matondo because this keeps coming up. How he's I've heard people say he's a better player than Gassama, and I'm just honest. I'm pulling what's left of my hair out. To be honest, Rabbi Matondo is the antithesis of a Rangers player, especially the one that Rule's looking for. So, yeah, I'd be glad to see him at the door as well.
Yeah, Alan, are you going to be glad to see the back of this transfer window in a couple of days? I know Danny Rose mentioned he's looking forward to it at his press conference tonight. He's looking forward to getting it done. He's looking to try and just put the attention, the focus going forward. Are you looking forward to seeing the end of it, or do you think there's still a bit of business that Rangers can do both in and out?
It's probably one of our most exciting January transfer windows in a while. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily in a rush to get rid of it. I would be hoping there would still be at least one incoming. Hopefully, the big German boy Stevie's just mentioned. I know it is the third tier in Germany, but I mean, if you're looking, nobody's raving about the leagues of Finland and things like that, and that's where we got Morelos from and things. I've said it for long enough that there's players out there, if you've got a proper scouting network and things like that, he's at a good age. I would be more than happy for him to come in, and hopefully there's still maybe a few to go out, and the names mentioned with Stevie, I'm just kind of repeating them, but no, I think it's been quite an exciting window. You just want to see them really getting all fit now and kind of getting like a bit of a game now. Ideally, we'd like to maybe have seen them tomorrow night, but I know that's not possible. But you just want to try and get them all bedded in now. And I hope if it is going to be the German boy, we can do it quite soon, and it's not a last day, a last hour thing. As exciting as it is, you want them in the new to bed for the games coming up, especially midweek game coming soon and things like that. The games are coming thick and fast, and everyone's a cup final now to the end of the season.
Definitely. Mitch, if Rangers would only do one more, and it's, let's say it is Naderi or Naderi, or I'm not quite sure how we're pronouncing the guy's name, but if it was him, and given obviously the business we've done so far, would you see that as a successful window, or would you see it as a disappointment, the fact that we've maybe not got another one or two more in?
I don't know. I'm quite happy with the window so far, and I think if it's shut tomorrow, the only thing I would be a wee bit annoyed at, and I'd probably be being greedy more than anything, which to Stevie's eyes, that's no shock, would be another striker coming in. But I think that realistically only happens on a one in, one out basis. I know Danny Rule touched on it earlier that it's not contingent on that happening, but there is an element of practicality behind that of we can't have four strikers vying for realistically one position. But then at the same token, if that striker was the boy coming through from Germany, given his limited top flight experience, does that give him 6 months with two experienced strikers and another experienced younger striker in front of him? Just gives him that kind of 6 month bed-in period. I mean, I'm not the one cashing checks, that way. Like that's for the bean counters to worry about. But I do think I'd like a striker, probably maybe another midfielder, just with the Connor Barron injury and Rothwell leaving, and obviously everybody's least favourite footballer, Kieran Dowell, leaving. And, I still think it's an area that we're maybe an injury or suspension away from maybe a bit of a crisis, but equally a boy like Sterling can go in and do a job as a six for a couple of games. I do stress for a couple of games, no square pegs and round holes, but if needed for a game or two for a suspension, we could put him in there.
I agree. Totally agree. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. I see some of the comments come through already. There's been a question put across by Paul, which we'll get to in a wee second. Paul, so thank you for your question. Guys, just to cover off, ladies and gents, if you are looking for some of the incredible merchandise that we've got, I'm sporting one of the tops, one of the hoodies here, the Rangers Journal hoodie. If you're looking for that, there is a QR code at the top of your screen. Please have a look to see what's there. Valentine's Day is coming up shortly. Get your loved one away Rangers Journal bit of merch. I think that would go down really well with the other half. I think that'd be a really good one. So if somebody got me that, I would love it. So definitely go and have a wee look, folks, if you can. Try and help the journal out. You can see there's the web link at the bottom as well. I'm going across your screen. So please have a wee look and see what's there. And I'm sure you will find something that takes your fancy for this Valentine's Day that's coming up. Guys, I'm going to ask you some questions and just around the theme of the show tonight. So we know the transfer window's hotting up. So main question I'm going to ask is all three of you, and I would like a name from all three of you if we can. I'll come round like we did last week, just individually at certain points of the pod. So I'll give you a wee bit of time to think about it. I won't land it on you just now, Stevie. I wouldn't do that today because we need to give you a wee bit of time to prepare. But the question I'm going to ask you guys, and look, I think people in the comments, if you want to put this, your answers into this as well, it'd be great to see them. We'll get some of them up on the screen. Who should we sell in this window? Out of everyone that's there at the moment, first question would be, who should we sell? Second question would be, what do you think we actually need? Now, we've been talking about it there and we're saying, and there's some comments coming in already about some positions and things. What do we think is going to take us to the title? What do we need? Who do we buy to supplement what we need? Those are the three questions. Who do we sell? What do you think we need? And who do we buy? And I would like a name for the sell and buy, and I would like to get a wee idea of your positions and stuff. So I'll let you have a think about that, gents, and I'll come to you at certain points through tonight's pod. And folks, if you are watching and you have got comments for that, pop the comments in, we'll get them up and we'll see how it ties in with the gents. And if you have got more questions you want to ask, please get them over. But first question for tonight, as I say, comes from Paul. It is a Q&A show, so let's get fired into it. The question from Paul is, so with the players we know are going, if we don't bring in anybody else, do you guys think we will have enough to win the league? Stevie, start with yourself. Do we have enough to win the league if we lose the players we've just been talking about and we continue on as we are?
I'll be closer. We'll definitely be closer if we don't add. But ultimately, the guys that we're hopefully going to see leave in the next few days, Danilo, maybe Matondo, Rothwell, Dill's already away. You're talking about $100,000 a week in wages freed up. So I'd be very surprised if we don't add, at least a couple of bodies before, is it Monday night the window closes? Yeah. But to answer Paul's question, I think we still have enough. The way we've progressed in the last 3 months is pretty phenomenal. You look at the improvement in players that Rose made. Look at Dio as an example. A few months ago, pretty much everybody had given up and was like, nah, he's done. And I defended him forever. And he's now coming back. He's like an absolute machine. He's really like influencing games all over the place brilliantly. Jermaity's turned around. There's just so many examples. Look at Barron before the injury. He came on so much. There's just a collective improvement with Danny Rule. And then the fact that he's already added, the new guys recently, that's only going to improve the standard in the competition, which will see us improve. So, yes, to answer your question, Paul, I think we still have enough to win the league if we don't. But I'd be very surprised, if we don't add another couple of bodies. Yeah.
Alan, obviously, we're talking in hypotheticals here, right? And nobody's sitting here saying Rangers are going guaranteed to win the league, just in case anyone snippets this and brings it back to us at some point in time, right? But we're pushing, we're going for it, and we're trying our best. Are you maybe concerned, Alan, that we've not got the experienced head to maybe get us through the next few months? Now, I'm thinking Joe Rothwell was brought in at the start of the season. We all thought at the start of the season that guy's got the experience of the Championship and going through the 2 promotions he went through the last couple of seasons. You look at the Rangers team just now. Okay, you've got Tav there who won the league at 55, right? Do we have that experienced head in that team just now that when the chips are down and we're struggling in a game to get that goal, do we have that in there, or do we need something else to come in and do that? But again, obviously, one of your questions will be is who could that person be?
I suppose the answer to that is probably not. We don't really have a lot of the experience with the way that we've went about the summer recruitment, and it seems to be a hanging football now that you don't really see us being linked to any players of experience. It is all young players with sell-on potential, things like that. So, but the other side of the coin, I would say, is like, well, maybe not having that experience are they then maybe playing with a bit more freedom and excitement that they're finding themselves in this position? Obviously, Tav's been there and done it. Like we have, maybe not winning leagues, but Sterling's been involved in squads that have won trophies, got to a European final. Like, it's there, but it's maybe experienced in different ways rather than the actual players that have been in won trophies and they've got a trophy count behind them. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad thing, though, because, like you say, they could be, like I said, they could be playing without freedom and pressure on them, and it doesn't. God forbid me for saying, but it doesn't look as if it's affecting them at the moment. They seem to be kind of enjoying it. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing. I suppose you could look at it either way.
Yeah, I hear you. Barry Lowe said, obviously, we need an influential player in the middle of the park. That's the most important area of the pitch. I agree. I think we do. And Paul's also saying Butland's is experienced. I think, Mitch, the guys there make some good points, and Alan made some really good points as well about that. But my thinking more around this is seasoned pros who are going to get you over the line. Now, I know that's a tough one in a January window to do it, right? So, just as you're answering Paul's question about do we have enough to win the league, I want to ask you just probably an add-on to that, Mitch, which is Danny Rule has won titles as an assistant and a coach in Germany and so on, right? And under the managers he's been with. Does that experience count for the missing experience you might have in the team? Does he have the knowledge and the whereabouts to, when it comes to your big games at Tynecastle and Hibs and Sunday, for example, when it going gets tough, will he be able to get us through this without having that main experienced player on the part that he can, or a few experienced players on the part that can drag us through it?
Yes, I think we've got enough experience in the team just now. Experience doesn't always have to be about winning trophies. It doesn't always have to be about, experience can be how has, let me put my teeth back in, how's a player handled a big situation. And you look at like Gassama last season with Sheffield Wednesday's mess that they were in. As a player, he was still going in, week out, game in, game out, not getting paid, but still turning up to his work and giving it his all every single time, and saved the club. Played his part in saving the club from relegation, which would have been financially disastrous for them. You look at players like in the middle of the park, Raskin's not a daft wee boy anymore. Raskin's what, 23, 24 now? Diamande again, 23, 24. These are boys that have been playing first team football at an adult level for a long time now. In relative terms, it's been over 3. I would deem it experience of kind of 3 seasons plus in the first team. And you look at Gassama's been through that, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch impact with football. He's seen quite literally what the bottom end of the barrel looks like last season, where you're playing for nothing, essentially, other than the love of the game. Whereas now, you look at that bid with that, albeit I'm sure we'll touch on it later on, how the deal was structured from Monaco. He's went from being plucked out of that situation to under the spotlight with Rangers. He's getting touted for a £10 million move, elsewhere. Then you look at Skivolson, who's come in, another seasoned professional. Up top, Majowski, he might not be hitting the heights right now, but again, he's an experienced professional. Danilo, another experienced professional. At the back, we've got Suter to come back. We've got Cornelius to come back. And I'm going to give props where props are due. Everyone knows my feelings on Manny. Everybody knows I love the boy. Big leaping fridge freezer boy. But equally, Jig has pulled his socks up since Christmas as well. And I'll say that 2 hands up. I was one of the first ones to give him the hardest of hard times. But equally, it can't be all stick and no carrot. The boys came back and he's played really well. And I think maybe there was an element of 2 young centre-backs trying to figure out what the 2 of them were meant to do. And I think there's a huge element of that experience again at the back with Jack Butland, and to the extent of Tav and even Max Aarons as well in there, of it, talking to them and giving them in-game management of, look, we're in a scrappy 1-0. don't do anything stupid. Don't go on a big 30, 40 yard mazy run up the field. Just be a defender, hold your line, and lo and behold, when you look at the clean sheets now that we're racking up, we've got more clean sheets than a laundrette right now. It's one of these ones, and I think that's where we're starting to see that experience that is in the team, not just at the front, but at the back and in the middle of the park. And I think, I do think there's a wee kind of unheralded member of the backroom staff, which is that Sasha Lentz coming in. His background in psychology and everything else as well, there's no coincidence that the same players that used to go hiding in big games are the same players that now on a big game are the ones trying to run the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Stevie, you want to come in there, mate?
Just really quickly, that's the key point for Mitch, for me there. I think that the structure that Rangers have got in place now under Rule and the coaching staff, they're actually creating leaders. Like Mitch says, nobody's hiding. Everybody's taking responsibility, which we've bemoaned the lack of for a long time. So, yeah, I think, sorry, my cat's just appeared. I'm going to do a Kurt Zuma. We'll be back in a second.
That's right. We've got the dogs and the cats on the podcast tonight. My dog was in the background there barking. I think it agreed with you, Mitch, at the same time. So that was a good one, mate.
Not often I get that level of approval.
Exactly. I'm just highlighting a point there from Alex. So he said with Barrymere injured, they would sign David Watson from Kelly. He'd add Steele to midfield. Cost very little in terms of transfer fees and wages, and in his opinion would flourish at Ibrox. Alan, do you agree with that one? Do you think David Watson from Kelly would be one?
I like him. I think he's a decent player. Granted, he's in a very poor Kilmarnock team this year and struggling, but he's certainly one of the young Scottish talents that I would be looking at. I'd also seen one of the comments earlier as well, the boy Elliot Watt from Motherwell. I think boys like that we should be looking at kind of taking and looking to obviously bolster our squad. But I like the boy Watson. I think he's a good player. I think and with better players around him, he'd probably improve tenfold. And we've kind of got, I was going to say we've got a good record of taking players for Kilmarnock, but then I remembered Jordan Jones, so maybe no. But no, I would take him. I think he's a decent player. I think he would offer a wee bit, and plus from reading between the lines, I think he's comes for the good side of Glasgow and all anyway. So maybe be a move. It would be quite interesting to me anyway.
Fit right in, so he would, which is great. But before I go on to the questions we were asking earlier, should we sell? Who should we sell? Who do we need? Or what do we need? And who do we buy? Right. So before I go on to that, Steve, I'm going to come to yourself in a wee second for that one. So I'll give you a wee bit of time to think on it, so you've got it. But Mitch, just before I come to Stevie on that one, first, I'm going to ask you a quick question. Is the worry with the likes of Skov Olsen, Tur Romans, Chukwueze, potentially Nedry coming in, 4 players coming in there, right? We've just spoken in the last 10 minutes about how good the team looks at the minute and how settled it is. Is the worry that they come in and upset the apple cart a little bit in terms of trying to bed in, trying to fit them in? Because look, I'm not criticising the guy, right? But Skov Olsen on Sunday looked like a mashup for me, Kieran Dowell and Stan Lammers, and that was an absolute frightening experience when I seen that, right? But I know it's his first game. We've got to give the guy time. But my worry here is if we're pushing for this title and we're saying these players are going to come in and give us the experience we need, is maybe these guys going to come in and maybe upset that apple cart a little bit, and before you know it, we're not in the position where we want to be? What's your take on it, Mitch? You're on mute, mate.
Sorry about that. The short answer to that is no. And I think we've seen it on Sunday. Yes, the first half an hour, and I think the first half an hour on Sunday was a difficult watch. Let's be honest, for all manner of reasons. It was turgid, stodgy. It was stop-start. It was a minging winter's afternoon. It was just, I'd have called it a very Sunday afternoon winter's game of football that we watched. But I think we also seen it on Sunday though, after the game actually got into proper rhythm and proper flow. Yeah. The players that have came in now, Skov, I will say, he's going to need a game or two just to get some proper minutes under his belt. He was kind of frozen out a wee bit at Wolfsburg and not played an awful lot, in the last few weeks. And again, that is what it is. There's a reason why he's here and he's not starting for them right now. Yeah. But I think we've all seen enough of the quality with players like Skivolson, and I think Chukwani for me, obviously, in that I would have said in the final half hour of his start, we've seen far more of what he's about. He does everything that sometimes we'd love to kick Nico Raskin up the backside for not doing, where he'll take the ball, he'll run at his man, but he'll also do one-touch passes and get players involved around him. And you see where he's going to build that creativity from midfield. And he's a huge unit. I knew he was a big bit of a boy, but Christ, when we seen him, I was like, where did they find him? You know what I mean? He's been on my diet for a couple of weeks. It's like, he's massive. Like, but I think, for example, each of the players, when you watch them coming in, there's a different profile set for each player. For Romans, for example, coming in a bit younger, a little bit less top level experience. Chukwani, for example, won things over in Austria before coming here. Skivolson won things in his career. He's an international. He's an experienced campaigner. He's just going to need literally, I think he just needed a game. I think he'll need the game there on Sunday, and he'll probably need some minutes this weekend just to get some ring rust out of him. I think he'll be all right. Yes, mate.
Quickly, he's only played 6 games for the full season, and no for a few months. So he's going to take probably a month. But his pedigree is unquestionable. He's a cracking player, no doubt.
And that's why, Stevie and Mitch, I'm not like, I was just saying he's a mix between Sam Lammers and Kieran Dill, right? I was jesting with that. I know for a certain he's not. Mitch is giving me the finger there with that one. I know he's not up to speed, right? And he's not going to be up to speed. Stevie says he's not going to be up to speed for all. But my nervousness here is about, I think it was Paul said in the comments earlier on, are these players better than what we have? And I think on paper, yes, they are, and they look better than what we have. But it's just that whole upset that will cut from me, I think, is the dodgy part. But we need them. Like, there's no getting away from it. We need these players in, otherwise we're going to end up short once injuries kick in, suspensions, all that sort of thing. So we definitely need these guys in the door.
I think what I would flip back to that, though, is we're quite lucky that we've got games like the Stranraer game, for example, coming up, Queen's Park and stuff. Like, we've got games there that these are games that for players like Skivolson who haven't played a lot of minutes recently, you go out there, none of this pulling them off after half an hour. You play 90 minutes, you get 90 minutes on your legs, and you kind of break yourself back into the season. And they're kind of coming at quite a nice time for these players coming in. I think for Romans, he's quite lucky that Magoma's been really, really, he's been solid all season. I can only think of really only one game with Magoma where I went, he looked like a wee boy. And I think the rest of the time he's looked solid. And I think, he's looked really, really well, And I think we're quite lucky that there's still plenty of options there. So if it's not working out, we can rotate players around. And that's something that at the start of the season we didn't really have.
Yeah, competition. That's what you're talking about.
That's exactly it.
I think as well, further what you were talking about with Olsen as well, he's obviously came from Wolfsburg. Granted, I've not seen a lot of German football, but he's coming in his first start. It's Dundee at Ibrox. Dundee are sitting 10 men behind the ball, take a point. It's a total different style of football and everything he's going to have to get used to as well. It is going to take him time to bed in. I was a wee bit kind of at the time disappointed in what I'd seen. It was more impressed with Chukwani and that, but I think give him time. The quality's there. He's a proven international, what have you. And I think he will come good. I really do.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want Michael in the comments to think I'm ignoring him, so I'm not ignoring him at all. I'm going to bring up a comment he's put, and Stevie, this will tie into the question I'm going to ask you. So Michael's put on the comment, I think we need a proper centre attacking mid lad, someone that can play in the hole between mid and striker, score and assist, but we maybe need to shift someone on. My bet would be Jermaine. Take the coin while we can. Might not get more for him in the summer. So on that basis, Stevie, 3 questions we had was, who should we sell, what do we need, and who do we buy? Can I take the name? Who do you think we should sell? Is it one of the ones that was been mentioned, or is it someone else, do you think, in there?
Yeah, the ones I mentioned before, like I say, $100,000 a week in wages is getting freed up if those 4 leave. So Dill's away, Danilo Postma, Rothwell probably, maybe Matondo, hopefully, get rid of him. So yeah, those 4. We're talking about dead wood that needs trimmed. Yeah. The squad is too bloated. Those guys go, it's a huge amount of wages freed up that can put towards a better player. like my fantasy signing would be Thomas Muller, what I've done before, in case anyone got beat with it.
Love it.
But I think, to me, like the way, like, you know, we're rejecting bids of 10 million, you know, stuff like that, because obviously we've got the 49ers behind us.
Mhm.
We are basically like a prestige club now, you know, there's no doubt about it. They're showing their financial muscle. But practically, I wanted to sign the Motherwell striker. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name very well.
Maspanisi.
Yes, you said it perfectly. So beat Celtic to him. You know, that's another psychological blow, and get him in the door, because if they're haggling on a couple of million quid and we've got the wages and the money there, just go get him. Strike a blow. It'll take you back to the 90s. You think back to like Watler's time. He would always just nip in and steal a player right under their noses, like Alan McLaren, I think, Gordon Petric, guys like that. You know, I think it would be a fantastic bit of business. Get him in the door.
So just what I've got then, Stevie, on that one, the question that Michael put in about Chermiti, right? We've seen now I'm going to caveat this question, Stevie, because we've seen the press coverage, which was 13 million euros bid. There's been a few rumours tonight that it's his agent that's been pushing that deal, and actually Fenerbahce are away looking at other strikers, 20, 30 million, things like that, right? So we're not quite sure what the answer is to it. It could be his agent pushing it. If that bid was on the table tonight, based on what you've seen so far for Chermiti, is he one that goes, or do you keep him and see what he can give you till the end of the season?
Did Michael watch the game at Parkhead? I'd be keeping him. I think he'll run amok against that defence 1st of March at Ibrox. So yeah, I'd definitely keep the big man. He's proved almost all of us wrong. You know, I think a couple of months ago we were all asking for a criminal investigation into his signing, and now he's just absolutely rammed the words down our throat, which I'm delighted about. He's came on a lot. So yeah, I would definitely keep him. I do get the fact that there's a lot of money in Turkey, especially Russian money. So his agent's probably after a bit of that. But you know, from his perspective, the way he's progressing under Danny Rule, the way the club's going, possible title, well, definite title challenge, Scottish Cup to play for. I don't think he wants to leave. So yeah, I would keep him 100%.
He is back in the squad for tomorrow. Danny Rule confirmed that in his press conference tonight. Mitch, we'll come to yourself in a wee second. I just want to bring up a couple of comments, if you don't mind. So, Mitch, you've been corrected on the Queen's Park, the Stranraer situation. It's now Queen's Park that's in there. I'll be honest, I've still got PTSD from that last season with the Queen's Park situation, so I'm not counting my chickens on that whatsoever at all. We just never know. So let's hope for that doesn't happen again. Paul saying, there was a question getting asked by Paul, do we know how much longer Romans is out for? And Mitch, you went back on the journal, so thank you for doing that. He was in training today, from what we understand, and hopefully the rumour feeling is he's going to be there on Sunday, or thereabouts the squad on Sunday. So that would be really good if he was. I agree with Paul. Makoma, I think, needs a rest. I think the young boys went to the well for us quite a bit. Great player, I think, Makoma. I hope he's one that we sign. He's one of my names. I think we should be signing Makoma on a long-term deal. I don't think we should be just letting him go. I think it would be great to have him, given what he's shown so far. Our very own Doug has asked the question, and I'll just put this out there to see what your laughs are. Raheem Sterling on a free, lads. I think the laugh gives it all there, but thank you for that one, Doug. That is a really good point to put on. Bayrami's back. Obviously came on Sunday. Good as well to have Bayrami there with Asgard, as Baron Loyal has said. He's back, so it's great. It's another option, which is fantastic for us guys, I think, which is great. Yeah. As you said, Stevie, Norwich interested in Matondo. Alexander's confirmed that. They are interested. Philip Clement, if he came in with a 10 million bid for Matondo, he would be doing us an absolute ton, I think, on that one. So that would be really, really good. And then the other one is, this is the one that's killing me at the moment. Paul's just hitting it out of the park with everything tonight. Ipswich, very interested in I can't see that guy's name. Apologies, Piro, or can't see it. I don't know if that's me saying it right. I would like this boy. I always spoke about it. Again, it's another one I would buy. I would like this boy, but I really hope he doesn't go anywhere else apart from us, and hopefully we can get that one over the line as well. I think caught up. The last one, Michael again has said, I think we keep Kasama till summer. He's inconsistent on the right, but on the left can cause problems. But if you get a striker improvement and a centre attacking mid, I totally agree with you, Michael, on that 100%. I think you're absolutely spot on that one. Mitch, sorry, you want to come in, pal?
It was just a quick comment on Chermiti. I think his agent is fully aware, and I was talking about this with a couple of the other boys in the scouting team before coming on, that we're in a really weird era in football at the moment when it comes to strikers in general, where the strikers of the Lewandowskis, for example, that we've all grown to love over the last kind of decade plus, Strikers don't really exist in today's market anymore, and when they do exist, they go for eye-watering sums of money to places like Chelsea, Arsenal and all that, and they go when they're like 18, 19, 20-year-old. A striker like Chermiti, for example, he's still got such a huge ceiling as a player. But I think one of the big things for him as a player as well is this is the first time in probably about 18 months to 2 years he's had consistency in his career. Where at Everton he had a bit stop-start with some of the injuries and various manager changes, the takeover at Everton and everything that's went on over there. And he basically got chucked into a frying pan as basically a young boy. He got chucked into something that realistically, from a life experience standpoint and everything else, he probably wasn't ready for what he walked into. And he's came here, and it's taken him a few months. Let's call a spade a spade. It's taken him a couple of months to get to his feet. But with a lot of signings being so data driven and metric driven, and the metric is less so about goal output for strikers now because we're in such a, I'd have said probably the best way to put it is there's a bit of a drought of quality strikers. That even now, average strikers, and I'm not calling Chermiti an average striker, but you look at a striker like Majowski, just using that as an example. In yesterday's market, Majowski's probably a £2-3 million striker because he's a decent striker, but he's not going to give you 30 goals a season. Because if he did, he's not going for that kind of money. But when you look at that underbelly outside the top 5 leagues in Europe, even if you look in the Premier League and stuff, there's not many 20 goal a season strikers now.
Yeah.
Who
And
was that? Who was that guy? Was it Lawrence Shankland, Mitch? Lawrence Shankland. He was a striker.
He's fake news, mate. He's not even got real hair. He's got Astro hair.
Yeah. But, good choice, Mitch. I think you're spot on. I think it's a tough one, and we hear it all the time, Mitch, don't we? This transfer window is the toughest transfer window you're going to get. And if you can't get a striker in the summer who's going to give you 20-25 goals, you're never going to get it in January. It's not going to happen, especially at this point in time. Now, I'm going to just pop something on, though, that came up on a comment there, and I've just like to, so give me 2 seconds and I will put it on. I think it's, in fact, there it is there. Baron Loyal says, sell Danilo, buy Stefan Sigurdsson, guaranteed goals. Now, I'd be honest, I don't know who Stefan Sigurdsson is, so I've just Googled him, and if it's the right one, he currently plays for a team called Sandefjord, and I think it's, he plays in, where is it he plays? I'm just looking, Iceland? Is it Iceland?
Yes.
I can't see. Plays there. He scored 27 matches, 15 goals, 1 assist this season, 25 years old. The reason I want to put this on there for you guys to have a quick chat about is because we talk about the players that Hearts are bringing in at the moment using that model that they've got, right? And when this boy from Germany, the third tier in Germany, came up, a lot of Rangers fans thought, why are we going for a third tier Germany player, right? But 2 days ago, we're all sitting and talking about how Hearts are geniuses pulling in these guys from nowhere. There's a name there that's probably not on anybody's radar at the moment that Baron is given, plus the German boy. Should that be where we're coming from at the moment? Is that where, and Alan, I'll probably ask you this question first of all, bring you back in. Is that where we need to be looking at market-wise in order to take them in, low fee, massive sell-on at the end of it, if we get lucky with it?
Yes, I have been screaming for it for God knows how long, that these are markets we should be looking at. Every time in the summer, it was, we were going and we were looking at England Championship players, and we're buying players and bringing players on loan and things that, seeing the transfer fee, like for example Giga, Wolves have bought him for 10 million. 10 million to Wolves is a punt. We're not in that. We're not in that bracket.
Yeah.
If we're going and bringing players for England, we're bringing players that are in where you're looking to try and then sell back to that market. It's probably not going to get the value.
Yeah.
If we are looking, I would rather us look at Europe. I would rather us look at Icelandic League. I'm like yourself, Chris. I've never heard of this, boys. But if his goal scoring record is there, it should be players like that we're looking at. We pick up. He comes over here. He's in a bigger shop window, if you like. As much as it is Scotland, it's still a bigger shop window. Old Firm games, hopefully European games, things like that. And that's where we then look to cash in. That's what we should be doing. That's the exact markets that we should be looking at, and we should be looking at it for long enough. This going and bringing players in for the Championship continually, or even League One, whatever it is doing in England, it's an absolute risk, because the money that's down there it's like a false, like, I don't know the right term to use, right? So I'm not going to try and make myself look stupid, but you've got players down there that all of a sudden they come into the team down there, they're automatically worth 25 million.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
But you're looking at the standard and you're thinking, is he really a £25 million player? Or is it because he's English? Is it because he plays in England? You're shopping in a market you're never going to get value for money for. And these other leagues is exactly what we should be looking at.
Yeah, you're right, Alan. Look, that. On you go, Stevie. On you go, mate.
Just really quickly, I totally agree with every word Alan said there, but the only one thing I would say, look at Jamie Vardy. He came from absolutely nowhere. I know he's a one-off, but these things, and this guy could be the big German, Jamie Vardy, you never know. So it's 100% worth a punt.
Absolutely. And you're right, and I think this is the thing for us. Obviously, we're not here to tell Rangers fans what to do and who to like and what time to give them, but for me, what I would say is if this boy does come in, we probably just need to be patient with him, give him that bit of time, let him hit the ground running and not write him off after a few games, which we all have a tendency to do. Let's be fair, we do that. Before I'm conscious, I just wanted to give a shout out. We've probably got about 15 minutes left. The time is flying in tonight, guys, right? So apologies on this one. We've probably got about 15 minutes left of tonight's pod. So please, guys, get your questions into the gents. I'll get them fired over and we'll try and get through as many as we can. But Mitch, before I come back to yourself on your three questions I've got for you, Alan, I just wanted to quickly rhyme off for yourself. Who should we sell? Have you spoken about a name that you want to sell, or is there someone else we need to touch on? Who in the current market should we be selling for Rangers at the moment?
I think it's hard to argue with the names that's already been mentioned. The guys that are in the fringes of the team and not really offering much. The likes here, Rothwell, the likes of Danilo. Personally, I would put Ant-Man in there as well. If the rumours that I've seen today about Feyenoord maybe sniffing about Ant-Man, I wouldn't be as opposed to sending Ant-Man back. He maybe is a decent player, but it's just not working for him in our league, whether it's the way we are playing or not. But if we were offered the same kind of money back for Ant-Man, I would take it. Matondo, please God, come in and take him. If you ask me, he should be nowhere near a Rangers start an absolute chancer of a guy. But I think it should be players like that we'd be looking to get. I wouldn't be looking to kind of cash in anyone now. I was quite happy reading the fact that we'd refused offers now for Gassama, we'd refused offers for Chermiti. Yes, I think the jury's maybe still out in Chermiti a wee bit, as in like his football and his play is definitely improved off the ball. And when we played Miovski up front the other night, and you miss him something terrible, Chermiti was there because he's an out ball for us. His hold up plays came on leaps and bounds, but I still don't look at our strikers and see goals. That's my concern. So if one of them had to go, I'd probably try and punt Danilo, and I would take a chance on the German boy. I definitely would. I think the potential's there, the young boy, and I trust Danny Raw. We know that market. Yeah.
And that's a good thing. That's one thing we haven't touched. It is a market he knows really well, and it's one you would probably assume would be a safe bet, which is really good. So yeah, definitely agree on that one.
Probably goes back to your earlier question as well. Sorry, he jumped back, but I think maybe even Mitch mentioned it as well when you were talking earlier about experience for title run-ins and things. Raw might not have been number one at Bayern, but he's been involved in it. He knows the pressure of Bayern Munich, where you've got to win every single week, and in the way that he's handled it so far, he's been absolutely outstanding. I think he's bringing a total calm head to the whole squad, and I think you can see that.
And who better to learn from the managers? He's been Hans Flick and all that sort of thing. It's big managers he's learned from in the past, so definitely. Last one for you, Alan. Is there anyone that you want to cover off in terms of we buy that we've maybe not touched upon so far?
I would have liked Dan Nealon, but obviously I think he's away at Ipswich now. I wouldn't mind us if we didn't get the German boy. I wouldn't mind us going to Motherwell and trying to get Marcel Anisi. I really would. His goal scoring record for Motherwell has been outstanding this year. Even the young boy, Elliot Watt from Motherwell and all. Though I believe he's injured now. I'm not sure what the injury is, but I would be. We were talking about it last week, and it looks as if possibly Bowie's away now anyway. And
Yeah.
I would rather see us go for someone like Massa Anisi than Kieran Bowie, especially for the money that was getting talked about.
Yeah, totally agree.
100%, as I agree with the comment I've just seen come in about a swap deal for Rothwell for Kenny McLean. If that was an option, I would take Kenny McLean.
I would take him for 6 months, given the experience he's got. But I don't think he's a longer term for us. I think he's past it now. But look, if he's going to get you over the line for 6 months, get yourself in the World Cup squad, which he's going to try and do, you'd imagine, then absolutely, yeah. I would do that one for the next 6 months.
He's Kenny McLean is loved in Norwich. They absolutely love him. They wouldn't let him go.
He's a hero down there, isn't
he? Before we go on to Mitch, the 3 questions, I want to cover off the questions that have come in. Doug's put a question in, Doug's put one in, and I want to ask you this one, Mitch. With tomorrow being our last European game this season, do you think we'll see further improvements to the team with Danny Rule getting more time to spend on the training pitch? So obviously Doug's talking about we're out of Europe, we're going to have some free weeks in there. Are you expecting to see more from this squad, or do you think Danny Rule needs a full pre-season to try and get more out of the squad, given the fact he's already got a lot out of them so far?
I think one of the things that Danny Rowe's been really, really good at since coming in is game load management.
Yeah.
Because the games have, let's be honest, the games have come thick and fast since Danny Rowe's come in. Like, we've been playing 3 games a week, pretty much every week for what feels like about 300 winters at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and I think having that, I think we'll also see more from the players at this point physically. I know that most players are kind of coming into that physical peak now at this point of the season, where the body's been through the ringer of obviously the early half of the season, getting used to 3 games a week again, and peak physical fitness is, you know, kind of now back at the forefront.
Yeah,
I think what we'll see more is, I think we'll get used to seeing the team being a bit more adventurous, and we'll they'll have more time to work on that with them. And I think with the players that have already come in, you know, you can see what they're trying to do, like we mentioned earlier with the Chuckwanis, with the one-touch passes, breaking wingers through, breaking lines down, and just being really unpleasant to play against if you're a low block. You know, Chukwani, you've got Chukwani hurtling balls at you and hurtling himself at you, but equally you've got Mikey Moore in the wing, you've got Gassama in the wing running at you like a speedboat. You know, I'm not being funny. Like, that cannot be a fun afternoon for anybody. Yeah. Like, especially when you're a glorified Sparky, you know what I mean? If you weren't any good at football, you'd be a glorified Sparky at that point.
Absolutely. But, yeah.
You know, no disrespect to the other players in the league, but I think we'll see become a bit tidier under Rule.
I agree. I think the more time he gets, I think Alan said it, Stevie said it, it's the calmness he brings at the moment, I think, is really good. And I know a couple of people behind the scenes at Rangers, and they're saying the same thing. He's brought a level calmness to it, and it's everyone's working for him. Everyone wants to do well for him. From what we're hearing behind the scenes, you see that in the players. The players have come on tenfold in the last, and that's not happened by accident. That really hasn't happened by accident. It's came in and he's turned it around, and he's basically brought a bit of belief in there. And we're all believing. We probably just need that Marvin Andrews stand on the sideline shouting and keep believing every week is what we need at the minute. But we'll get there. We will get there with it, and we'll see where we end up. And it's going to be exciting in the next few weeks, and the next couple of days are going to be exciting to see what we come in. This is genuinely a time where I think you just never know what could happen in this transfer window. We could sell Trinity after the game tomorrow and go and spend 15 million a striker somewhere. That's the type of thing that could happen in this window. Anything can happen, I think. So on that note, it'll probably be really good to keep a tune into the Rangers journals, social media pages, and all the articles we've got, because who knows, we might have some news on that coming at some point in time. So there you go.
I will also touch on, just obviously echoing the role comments there as well. I always think how another club's fan base look at either a manager or a player when they leave speaks volumes for the impact that they've made. Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday fans were in absolute bits when Danny Rule left, and he left obviously with the whole monetary dispute and everything else. But you know, the togetherness that he managed to wield on and off the park, you know, under quite literally the worst of circumstances for them. You know, it speaks volumes. You know, if you watch the games on TV, you wouldn't think that they were in free flow crisis behind the scenes. He had the fans giving it everything for them, and he had the players give everything for the fans. And I think it's that what's old is new approach again. You know, a lot of managers today, and we've seen it with, you know, the likes of Russell Martin and other managers that have been in and out the league. They forget that the bread and butter of clubs are the people that come week in, week out, put money into the club every week.
Yeah.
First and foremost, you can have the most humming game of your life, but see, as long as you've done the bare minimum of ran your socks off from minute one to the minute you're hooked, none of us will question your desire to play for the shirt at that point. Every player can have a hummer. You know, nobody's immune to it. But you know, I think that's one of the big things is obviously that reaction from Wednesday fans. Obviously, when he left, they were devastated, but they had nothing but positive well wishes to give him. Obviously, when he got the job here, and I think that speaks massive volumes to him as a person and his character as a human.
Yeah, definitely.
He comes across so methodical. He seems so methodical in what he does. But Mitch mentioning Russell Martin or Terry Vegetables, it's like I don't think you could get two more different people. They're so different, they really are.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel, he just wants to win games. You know, he's building that, and he's got us. I mean, we're actually starting to like have a style now. There's a tempo. There's just, everything is so much better. It's just you know, 3 months ago, if you said to Oyas, we're going to be in a title challenge, we'd have laughed because it didn't seem possible, and he's got us to this point. So tremendous. That's one of my biggest concerns. It's almost no Hearts and Celtic. It's if we finish the season the way we're going just now, other clubs got to be looking at Danny Rowe. I'll get my new contract.
Definitely. I
agree. Release clause up.
Yeah, because he's only on a 3-year contract or 2.5 year. I can't remember exactly what it is, but he's not on a long-term contract, so they need to definitely. I agree with you on that one. Gents, apologies, I'm probably going to just skip through a couple of things at the moment, but I just want to cover a couple of things off. There's a comment there saying, are you guys doing a deadline day show? We absolutely are, Paul, 100%. We will be doing one on Monday. That's getting organised at the moment, so please, we'll, as I say, keep an eye on the pages. We'll put some information up, but we will absolutely be doing one on Monday. I'm sure everyone will tune in. Mitch will be here with his yellow tie on. I've got no doubt about it. Mitch, he did get compared to Jim Royle earlier on. So somebody done that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, mate, but I thought
somebody done me an absolute dirty with that, honestly. Between that and the Hairy Bikers comment at the weekend.
Exactly.
I nearly fell off my chair when I read that.
Tremendous. Stevie, I'm going to ask you really quickly. Again, I'm just conscious of time. We've probably got about 8 minutes left, and I just, or even less than that, I just want to bring this one up. Wilfred Munsey Loyal has said, Jens Hertogdal, the lad from Tromsø. Is that a yay or nay for yourself, Stevie?
I literally googled him a couple of days ago, and again, he seems to fit that kind of profile, a really tall, athletic, good all-rounder. So yes, that's business that I'd be quite happy with, 100%.
Yeah. Alan, CGM says, how long to roll starts getting linked with Premier League jobs? For me, it isn't far away. Stevie just said the exact same there. If he keeps going the way he's going, it wouldn't be a surprise. Somebody in the English Premiership, let go their manager at the end of the season, will come in and put a bid in for him. Would you expect it?
Hopefully not. But I mean, it's hard to. It would be hard to think that he's not getting some sort of interest or getting eyes watching him, especially if you see if he goes on to win this league after the start we've had. It'd be crazy if people know look at what he's done. With relatively one window. You know what I mean? Coming into that squad, and not only that, improving players that come in at the start of the season. I mean, you're starting to see improvements in Asgard. I think you're seeing improvements in Magoma. I think even Big Fernandez, that's doing to him as well. Like, I think it's so. I think, but I mean, if he's doing well, it means Rangers is doing well. So, I mean, how do you take it? You know what I mean? It's it's one of them, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's part of the course, isn't it?
Is Gary saying there, Gary, the people saying, I think we'll get another season in a row at least. I would hope that if we do win the league, he sticks around for a crack at the Champions League, is what I would hope for.
Like a shot at Europe with his own team, I think. I don't think. I get the impression he loves it as well. I don't think he'd be in a rush to leave, no, but I think he's a young manager with plenty of years ahead of him. No, I'd like to think that he sees this as a bit of he doesn't use the term a project, which I like, but I think he would like to see him improving it and then taking it on next season. And like he
Yeah.
says, he's pragmatic. He just wants to win games. He's
Yeah,
not
totally.
anything like
He seems
all
to have a
this-
good relationship
that
with him.
style and all this carry on and things like that. He knows he seems to have understood it very, very quickly, which says even more for Russell Martin, the fact that he was here for 6 months and didn't understand the bloody thing.
Mitch, conscious we'll still get your 3 answers, mate, right? Because of the time we've got, apologies, it's my fault. I should keep you a wee bit early with this.
Sorry, I can whip through, don't worry.
Give me 3 names. Give me the 3 really quickly, and then we'll get another question that's just come in I want to try and get to before we go off air tonight. So, first of all, Mitch, who do we sell? Give me a name.
Oh, there's a few contenders. I think if the money's right, probably I would look at one of the centre backs. I'd probably look at John Suter if the money's right, because he's still no petting that new deal.
It's a good shout.
And
Mhm, it's a good shout.
the team's proven right now that we don't necessarily. I don't want to say we don't need him because it's got player quotas and stuff, but we've seen that we can kind of last without his injuries, and he's been pretty healthy at the moment. Him or Danilo, I think.
Yeah, wouldn't argue with that. I think that's pretty good. And who do we buy? If we've not mentioned the person, who do you think we should be buying? You like a left field name here?
I like a weird name. I do quite like that Silas Anderson, the boy from the what is he, Norwegian league or Icelandic league. I think just again it's that midfielder. I just think it's just the one area that we're a bit exposed at the moment.
Yeah. 21 years old, plays for Haken. Is that right? Plays for in Denmark. Is that what it is?
Aye,
the boy?
that's the one.
It's the one. Yeah, good shout. It's a really, really good shout. Definitely. Just on the back of that, then, Mitch, I'm going to really pivot on this one because I want to get the questions in. And our Doug's asked us another really quick question, which is McInnes has been linked with Rose down south. Could we see him being pounced, or is the prospect of winning the title too big for him to leave? Now, I'm going to put my response to that straight away, Mitch, before you come in, right? My response is, if I was him, I would get out now because Hearts are not winning that league, in my opinion, right? I don't think they will. I think they're going to be in a situation where injuries are going to cost them and they maybe fall away. Now, that might come back and bite me, but that's just my opinion on that one. What's yours, Mitch?
I think there's a double-edged sword. I think could jump out now while his stock's high, but equally he's got every chance of winning something. And I don't think he's the sort of guy that walks away from the position that he's put them in. I don't see him doing that. I think he would assess his options in the summer, which, let's be honest, there in the summer he's got more options realistically once the managerial merry-go-round kicks off in the summer. So I think for me, I think he stays where he is just now.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a good shout. Okay, lads, look, we've covered off most of the questions. There's a few comments people are putting on that I just want to pop up on screen. Ant-Man would be who I'd sell, says CGM 55. Physical profile just doesn't suit. Danilo will go, as will Rothwell and Matondo. I totally agree. Alexander Marshall says Motherwell winger, no brainer. Look, why Rangers are not putting the bit money in for him just now, I don't know. Andrew Cavan, if you're listening, get on the phone to him right now. Put the bid in, get it done and dusted. Let's call it a day. Matondo, Rothwell, maybe Danilo to leave, but kind of think of any other, says Doddington. I think he's spot on. I think I would be astonished if we get through this window and all three of them are still at Rangers at the end of this window. And Big Shug says we're lacking a proper number 6 and a creative player because we don't make enough chances. I couldn't agree more. I think our creativity is lacking, but I think with Bayrami coming back in there, Asgard coming onto the game, we might see that creativity change a little bit. It'll be really interesting to see. Folks, I just want to really quickly try and look ahead to tomorrow night. Stevie, I'll come to yourself first on that one. Porto away, it's another big game. People are saying it's a game that we could be doing without because obviously we've got another big game on Sunday, but it's £400,000 on the line if you win, or thereabouts 400,000 if you win. It's another game to go in that winning run that you'd hope to put on there. For you, is this an important game, or is this one that you'd have liked to have just seen out the way and just play the kids tomorrow night? What's your thoughts?
No, it's still important, but just excuse me, really quickly. Derek McInnes will stay with Hearts for the same reason that Danny Rowe will stay with Rangers. Great ownership. Plus, I think the old boy might still end up at Rangers down the line. See how it goes.
Oh, there's a shout. There's a shout.
Seriously, but huge game tomorrow night. You want us to win, but what we've seen in the last couple of European games between the the contrast between the Scottish game and the European game is the bench, because obviously the new guys can't play in Europe, so the bench is very weak comparatively.
Yeah.
So it's a big ask tomorrow night. I just hope the player, I don't want them to treat it as a training game, I want them to go out, obviously give their best and try and keep the run going. But ultimately, Sunday's the key game for this week. If we get a result, great. If not, it's not the end of the world. Get everything at Easter Road on Sunday. No injuries,
Absolutely.
that's my only hope.
Definitely. Good shout, mate. Good shout. Alan, Stevie, give me a score prediction if you can, please, mate, as well. What's your score prediction for tomorrow?
I'll go for 1 each.
Oh, take that. I would take that right now if you offered that. I would be there. Alan, what's your thoughts for tomorrow night? Score prediction, please, mate, and anything you'd like to see from a willingness from Rangers to maybe go ahead and go on the front foot. Would you like to see that, or do you think that ends up putting us into a tough position and leaves us open at the back? What's your thoughts?
It's one of them. I think it's important that we're able to put in a performance to keep the good run going and keep the confidence going. As much as the game, in the grand scheme of things, apart from coefficient points and money and stuff like that, it doesn't really mean much. But for confidence-wise, you don't want them to go over there and take a hiding. But when you're going to Easter Road on Sunday in a title fight, it's so. In an ideal world, you would like to see maybe some changes, but obviously you're limited with the European squad. So I'm just hoping really for a good performance, but I think it'll be a narrow defeat. I think we'll maybe lose 2-1, but hopefully put up a decent performance. But just with the Derek McInnes thing as well, I don't think he'll leave Hearts because I think he's only a good time with Hearts. Tony Bloom, a hell of a good owner. See if hopefully they don't do it this year, right? But the way they've ran out the Celtic and Rangers close this year, they'll come again next year. And I don't think he's going to go anywhere down south that's going to be a bigger job than where he's at now. He's been down south before and it didn't work. I think where he is now, I think he sees this as something to build on. So I think he'll stay at Hearts.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised to see it. But yeah, and you're right. See the comment about Hearts coming back next season again, regardless of what happened this season. I think you're spot on. I think they will challenge again. I think you get 3 forces now, unless one of Rangers or the other side across the city go out and blow the teams away. From a transfer standpoint, then I think they'll be back in again next season. So yeah. Mitch, over to you then. Score prediction for tomorrow and anything you think we should be seeing tomorrow, mate.
I'm going to say blind faith and optimism 1-0. It's going to be an ugly goal. Probably we won't mean it, but I'll take it. And I think we'll see player. What I'd like to see is guys like Bayrami getting some proper minutes. Obviously coming back for the injury. I'm not saying maybe start him, but maybe give him a good half an hour towards the end with a view of bringing him in for Sunday. And I'd like to see some of the youngsters get a taste of Europe as well. Give likes of Finlay Curtis a good half hour. Give some of these, some of the academy boys as well, give them a taste. Just doesn't have to be long. Give them the last 10, 15 minutes or something of a game, provided all is going relative, at that point. I don't want to give them, Leon King treatment or anything, but, if everything's going well, I don't see the point in not putting them out and keep the first team players fresh for the weekend, without doing anything stupid, obviously. But I think even giving those boys 5 to 10 minutes exposure at that level just lets them see on that player pathway that we're all talking about, here's what it can be when you're a fully fledged first team player. Yeah,
definitely. I think it'll be good. It'll be interesting to see what he does tomorrow night. And just like you guys have said, as long as we're not on a hiding on the other end of it, I think then that's the main thing. Keep the confidence going, keep the momentum going, and we should roll right through it. There you go. We should roll right through. Gents, okay, I'm going to probably get my jotters because we're over quite a bit on the time, so apologies on that one. Mitch is pointing the finger again. Look, we could talk another hour here. There's loads of things we haven't even touched upon, and we could probably have another hour's conversation, but I'm sure people are dying to get to their beds. Look, lots coming up, guys, on the pods over the next couple of days. You will obviously have your pre and post match tomorrow night, get your Friday news show. Then we're into the weekend and you've got your pre and post pods on Sunday as well. I was trying to remember if it was Saturday, Sunday. We've got those as well. So lots coming up. Then we're into Monday, transfer deadline day as well. It's going to be an incredible weekend. See where we're at, and hopefully we come through it really good in the end. Some of the comments that's come in have been fantastic, guys. Thank you everyone for your comments. We really appreciate it. As Doug has said, if you're a channel member, we've just confirmed 2 members only shows on Friday and Sunday evening as well. So please tune in for that, guys. Thank you for everyone. This is your show, folks. We do this for you. We come in, we want to put it out there for you and let you guys put the questions across to everyone. And some of the comments that's been across have been great. Some of the questions have been fantastic. And it really helps take this show on. And that's why it goes so quick. This is why it honestly feels as if we've been talking for 10 minutes. We've been here over an hour. So it's really enjoyable. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. Mitch, thank you as always for coming in and sharing your wisdom. It was an absolute pleasure, mate.
Always a pleasure, mate. Thank you for having us.
Alan, thank you for all your insight and wisdom. Again, absolute top notch from you. So thank you, mate.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Cheers, guys.
Stevie, I'm loving that top, mate. That's an absolute belter. It is. I love being on because you always get a wee bit of a different. You've got a different top every time we come on here, and I love it, mate. It's going back through the years, so it is all the time. And obviously, this one's one of our most recent ones. But I'm loving the tops, mate. And as always, thank you for everything. Your insight is top notch, mate, and it's great to have you on.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody. Just a wee thing there. Did you say Mitch and wisdom in the same sentence? I'm not sure if that.
They didn't even mean my teeth.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Listen, that's Jim Royal. That's his new name from now on. That's what we're calling him from going forward. Guys, just finally, I just want to put on, Scotty said 95 subs away from 5k. We're live from 5 p.m. on deadline day next Monday. Get subscribing if you can, please. Folks, like, share and subscribe for this. It absolutely helps the channel massively. So please, if you can, go on and do that. It would be much appreciated. Folks, thank you. Thank you as always. Lots of stuff coming up over the next couple of days. As we said, big night for Rangers tomorrow in Europe. We're really looking forward to that. But at the end of it, we'll always say, every night is a Rangers Derby night. Good night, folks.
Every night is the Rangers Journal night.